Okay. Good afternoon to those just joined. Welcome to the session. We'll get started in just a few minutes. Also, to let those know that we are recording the session and we are live streaming it to our YouTube channel as well. Buenos Aires, welcome. There's still some people in the waiting room, I see.
It would be great if people can turn on their cameras so we could just see the faces as well.
Yeah, good idea. We'd love to see you. Okay, I think it's almost 4 minutes past 4, so I think we'll start. So, well, thank you everyone for coming to our session. I do want to introduce our speakers. We have Dr. Alon Shepon, the head of the MA in Environmental Studies program. Hi, Dr. Shepon. Great to see you and have you here. We also have Lee Morey, who is the program director of the International MA in Environmental Studies. Hi, Lee. Great to have you here. So the session, the schedule for today was I'll begin first. So I'm David. I'm from the Lowy International School at Tel Aviv University. And I'll tell you a bit more about the Lowy International School in my presentation. I'll take about 5 or 10 minutes just to give you an overview of Tel Aviv University and the Lowy International School before I hand over to Dr. Shepon, who will give you a mini lecture on why reducing meat consumption is the single most important strategy to achieve food security. And then we'll have a program presentation about the MA in Environmental Studies. And then we'll have time for a Q&A session at the end as well. If you have any questions during the webinar, by all means, you can pop them into the chat and we can answer them at the end. In my slide deck, I have some links to various pages on our website, but don't worry about writing those links down, because afterwards I'll email out to you a link to the recording and also all the various links I'm going to mention. Okay, so let's begin. I'm going to begin by a very short video. It's our new campaign we just launched at the International School called Coming Home, about reminding all students around the world that there's a home here at Tel Aviv University for everyone. So let me just play the video. Okay. If you guys can't hear it, just let me know.
Tel Aviv University, it's a very large university. It's the largest university in Israel. We have students from many, many different countries. Our international school has always been a kind of an intimate niche for students who can feel at home with each other, with their professors. It's always been part of the story of why international students want to come here.
It's about surrounding yourself with people who make you feel comfortable, loved, safe, and that environment is tenfold here.
Having watched everything unfold on campuses in America this year, having been on campus, seeing all my friends struggle, it's really opened my eyes to how much Tel Aviv has given me. So trust me, if you're weighing your options, it's time to come home.
When I decided to go to college in Israel, I definitely expected it to be at a different level than what an American university experience would be like, both academically and just socially. Tel Aviv has blown away my expectations of what an Israeli college experience could be like.
Here you have the opportunity to be part of something so meaningful and still get the education that you're looking for.
One of the things that you can see is the amount of experts that work here, as well as the integration between experts and industry here, which I think is pretty unparalleled. All you have to do is sort of hop on LinkedIn and take a look, and you'll see every single project that has something that's pushing forward in any field has a link to Tel Aviv.
You have the best university in Israel. You have the center of Israel's economic capital, which is here, Tel Aviv, so your career opportunities are right at the doorstep for you.
You're always only 10 minutes from the beach. The culture is everywhere, the food's amazing, everything you need in a small area where you can just get around and hop on a bus and you're in class in 10 minutes.
Throughout everything that's been happening, I feel like people are there for me, where I know for a fact if I was in the States, it wouldn't feel the same way.
If you want to be challenged as an academic and a thinker, if you want to set up your professional career, and if you want to enjoy this weather in February, it's time to come home.
Okay. Did you guys spot one of the actual students of Lee's program and Alon's program in the video? I won't spot check you by asking you to name him. Okay, let's begin. Okay. So you guys can all see my slide deck? Great, let's begin. So that was our Coming Home campaign that we just launched last month. And I think, we have a thriving and growing international student community here at Tel Aviv University. And there's a home for everyone, whatever your background. So this gives a good snapshot. Let's just take a macro look at Tel Aviv University. First of all, we're Israel's largest and most comprehensive institution of higher education. We have 30,000 total students, and of that 30,000, 2,000 plus are international students, and they come from 100 countries, from all over the world, from North America, from Latin America, from Europe, Asia, Australia, as well as the international community here in Tel Aviv. We're Israel's largest and most comprehensive institution of higher education. We have 9 faculties, 125 schools and departments, 400 labs, 1 campus, 220 acres just north of downtown Tel Aviv. It's Israel's biggest campus, and it was also voted Israel's most beautiful campus as well. So, we are truly a multidisciplinary institution, of academic excellence. And we're in Tel Aviv, the second largest technology sector in the world. And Tel Aviv University is the innovation hub of the startup nation. So I won't go into all of them, but obviously we're very proud of our rankings as Israel's largest and most comprehensive institution of higher education. We're the #1 choice among Israeli students. We're ranked 16th in the world for faculty citation impact. We're the top 100 innovation university by Reuters. We're ranked in the top 20 in the world in terms of scientific citations. Also, you'll see a couple of these, for example, the 5th place for entrepreneurship, 8th for graduates establishing unicorn companies worth $1 billion. And in these rankings, we are the only non-US institution to make those top 10 lists. So we're up there ranked alongside leading American universities like Stanford, MIT, UC Berkeley, and Harvard. And also, we're very proud that 55% of the population on campus are women. 2 years ago, the university set up its very first Equality and Diversity Commission, and that's headed up by Professor Netta Ziv, and her remit is clear. It's to enhance equality and diversity among everyone on campus. Oops. So, as I mentioned, that, we're a multidisciplinary institution of academic excellence, and our impact is felt large and wide. We have a vast range of research and teaching fields that create unique and fascinating connections between disciplines that are not traditionally connected to each other. And that alone provides infinite possibilities for academic creativity. We have 130 research institutes and 400 labs, world-class faculty, renowned professors. Every year, our students perform over 300,000 hours of community service. And of course, you get to enjoy the wonderful Mediterranean city of Tel Aviv, which leads me on to this slide. If you've never been to Tel Aviv, it's a pulsating, vibrant city. As you can see, it's a coastal city with amazing beaches. It's Israel's cultural and commercial capital. It's been called the Mediterranean capital of cool by the New York Times. It's a non-stop city with amazing nightlife, cuisine, and cultures that you can never stop exploring. Some trivia for you about Tel Aviv. It's home to over 100 sushi restaurants. The city is home to the world's 3rd most sushi restaurants per capita, just after Tokyo and New York. It's the Silicon Valley of the Middle East. There's over 6,000 startups within a couple of mile radius of Tel Aviv University. It also has one of the highest dog-to-human ratios in the world as well. It's home to 25,000 registered dogs and a human population of just over 400,000. So we're very proud to be based here in Tel Aviv. The slogan of the city is non-stop, and our slogan here at the International School is non-stop discovery. So it's a great, wonderful city, and I personally have lived here for 12 years, and I could never imagine living anywhere else. It's truly an amazing, amazing place to live. Okay, if there's one other thing I want you to take away from today's session, in addition to the wonderful lecture and the amazing program you're going to hear about, it's the student life team. We call them madrachim, which, if you know any Hebrew, the Hebrew word for guide or counselor is madrich or madrachim. And they're there to give you a nice soft landing. They're all Israeli students. They all work with us. There's a team of 5 people, and they're there, like I said, to give you a nice soft landing. They are there on arrival day. They organize orientation. They do events on campus every week, like, yoga night, movie night, pizza night. They organize clubs. There's chess clubs. There's Arabic speaking clubs. There's lots of activities they do, in addition to, day trips in Tel Aviv, in Jerusalem, overnight trips in the north and the south. So you'll get to experience the best Israel has to offer with the student life team. And also they live in the dorms with you as well. So you don't need to live in the dorms, but if you do want to live in the dorms, then you'll obviously be there with the student life team as well. And also they're your go-to people for anything that's not academic. Even if, say you've lost your bank card and you need someone that speaks Hebrew, they'll be able to assist you with that. They're available 24/7 for any issues or support that you guys need. And that picture is actually, it's not a stock picture. It's one of the trips they did in Jaffa about a year or so ago. And so this sense of community extends through. Here are pictures of the dorms. We have on-campus housing, obviously, 24-hour security. Now, the good thing about the dorms is what we try and do is we try and keep all of the international students together, but at the same time, you are surrounded by Israeli students. So you get the best of both worlds. You'll see some pictures here. You can either live on your own in a studio or 1-bed apartment, or you can share an apartment with someone else and also share a bedroom with someone else as well. All the facilities that you need are there. There's laundry rooms, social rooms, study rooms, quiet rooms. There's even a creche if you have children, and everything you need is round about you. There's supermarkets, there's restaurants. You can jump on a bus or a taxi from outside the dorms and be in downtown Tel Aviv in 20 minutes. There's, post office. Everything you need is here, just outside campus. And just a short walk from the dorms to actually the buildings on campus as well. Okay, before I begin, I just want to mention to everyone, and don't worry about writing down this link here because I'll put this in the email that I'll send out to you afterwards. But we have lots of scholarship options and funding options on our website that we list. We launched Israel's very first full sports scholarship 2 years ago for elite athletes. That's worth up to $25,000 per year that will easily cover tuition for one of our graduate programs, as well as cover housing and hopefully something to live on as well. We have other scholarships that are regional for students from specific regions. They're all listed on our website. And also we list there external scholarships from external organizations like NSA, the Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Fulbright, lots of other organizations that we know that will give, in some cases, very generous scholarships and financial aid to students. So we list them all on our website. So I'll send it out by email to everyone afterwards as well. And that was me. So just a very quick overview. I hope that's given you a taste of, what Tel Aviv University is like and the Lowy International School. I'll send out my contact details afterwards as well. So don't worry about trying to write them down. I'm going to be here for the rest of the session as well. So I'm here also to answer any questions. And now I'd like to hand over to Dr. Shepon. Delighted to have you here. And I believe you're beginning with your lecture first.
Right. Thank you very much, David, for organizing this and for the Lowy International School. So hi, everyone. Such a pleasure to meet you. My name is Alon, and I'm an assistant professor here at Aviv University. Can you all see my slides?
Yes.
Now, yeah, is that okay now?
Yep, just
Okay.
click there. Yep, perfect.
Okay. So it's a pleasure to meet you. And I am an assistant professor here, and I do research on food systems. And I'll try to show you a little bit of what I do today to get you to feel and taste a little bit of what I do and the overall kind of what is done here in our department. And I chose to talk a little bit about meat consumption, which has been part of my research for a few years now, and showcase some of the research that I've done and others to kind of broaden our understanding about the environmental impacts of food. There's a really growing understanding that today food transformation is really a grand societal challenge, and it relates to issues of food security and environmental sustainability. The global food system, as we know it, this very large system that provides food for everyone, really exerts very large environmental impacts. And today, like David mentioned, is the day of the environment. And I think that this kind of lecture can also kind of broaden our understanding and see how we could mitigate much of our environmental impacts. And yet the food system, this very large system, fails in many issues. One of them is, of course, the health issue. We still have a large populations in the world that are malnourished, overweight, and there is very large obesity and diet-related diseases. It interacts with climate in very sophisticated and feedbacks, making it very difficult to understand how climate and food interact and what would be the outcomes in the future. And yet there's very large also inefficiencies when we come to understand how the food system functions. And so today, when we talk about solutions, we really talk about touching all the various aspects of food system, from agricultural practices, mitigation, food losses, large-scale dietary shifts, and of course, how food systems are also governed. Technology and policies also play in. This is the planetary boundary framework that shows how humanity has transgressed many of the planetary boundaries because of our very large impact on Earth. What's interesting about this paper, it also shows where agriculture really plays in, and that's the black dots that you see. So it's very easy to notice that agriculture really plays a major part of our impact on Earth. And of course, agriculture is part of the food system. When we look a little bit deeper, we see that animal-based products, this whole category of products that come from animals, really are the large majority of agriculture as well. And so understanding animal-based products really give us an intuition to understanding food system and our impact on Earth. And why is there, so the first question that comes to mind is, why are their impacts so large in proportion to agriculture, but also in the overall impact of humans on Earth? So the first reason is, of course, their sheer size and amount. So this is work that was done in the Weizmann Institute that was actually counting the amount of biomass of mammals across the globe. And what's interesting about that, in this census, you see that there are wild terrestrial, marine terrestrial, wildlife on your right and left, but these constitute a very, very small part of the entire biomass. The entire biomass of mammals across the Earth is by humans and their domesticated animals, which constitute about 24% of all that mass. So first of all, it's a very large and sheer numbers of livestock and humans. And the second reason is inefficiency in converting feed to food. What that means is, and here you could see work that I've done in the United States food system, is when you track the calories that are produced in the field, which are on your left side, and then you see how they're nurturing, cultivating production of all the various animal-based products, you see on your right what really ends up on people's plate. So the 9%, 13%, 17%, 3% are conversion efficiencies. We need a lot of food to get very small amount of animal-based products. This is also true when you count in protein conversion efficiencies. And so when you add the very large amount of animal products, amount of animals on the planet with this very large inefficiency that requires so much feed, you start to understand why we need so many resources and to get relatively small amounts of meat, but also why it has such a very large resonating impacts on Earth. Another case study to show you again, this is work, this was published recently in the New York Times, looking at the Colorado River in the southwestern of the United States, crossing 7 states. The entire basin is shrinking in water. When you look closely at who are the end users of that, which you can see here in this Sankey diagram, you could see that over 50% of that is livestock used water. The rest of it is about 25% for the other agricultural products for what we consume directly. And the other is residential, commercial, and other uses. So this is another starking example of how the resources that are dwindling across the globe in so many aspects are really attributed to animal-based products in many, many categories. So how do we move forward from here? How can we start looking at solutions? So if you recall what I've shown before about this inefficiency from feed to food, and here you look at beef, which has only 3%. So imagine for every 100 calories you get, on average, 3 calories of beef. But if you take the same land that is here, an arbitrary land, and instead of growing feed, you grow food that could actually be consumed directly and has the same nutritional quality as beef, you will see what you're getting is actually what you see the arrows on the right. And here it's in units of protein. And the 96% here is an opportunity cost, which we call food loss opportunity cost of food waste. What it means, food loss, what it means is that if the right-hand side is producing, let's say, 100 grams of protein, then on the same amount of land, if you would grow feed to nourish beef, you would get only 4 grams. So there's a 96% drop. So by consuming the left side over the right, there is actually an opportunity cost. And this opportunity cost actually occurs in all the other animal-based products. And what's striking is that if all Americans would change their diets and move from eating animal-based products to their nutritionally equivalent plant-based, we would be freeing so much land that we could produce food to meet the needs of an additional 350 Americans. And so that amount of food, just by dietary changes, is more than actually curbing the entire supply chain food waste. And another example how dietary change could really leverage and produce a lot of food from the same amount of resources is in this recent paper of colleagues where they looked at what would happen in the world based on the Russian and Ukraine war. When that happened, there's been a lot of fears of food system disruptions and supply of agriculture because Russia and Ukraine are very large bread baskets of the world and exporting a lot of wheat and maize and fertilizers. And what they've shown is that if the UK and the EU would change their diets, what would happen is that they would save so much land, they would be able to, in many ways, offset the the Ukraine and Russian exports that are needed in Europe and almost entirely make up for all the agriculture produced in these regions if there would come a situation where they could not be supplied. So in that sense, a transition to a Eat Lancet diet, which is a Mediterranean plant-based diet with very little animal products, could really compensate for the production deficit from Russia and Ukraine with improved environmental impacts. So just to wrap up my talk, then how do we get there? Like, how do we make these very large transitions in diets? So of course, this will require looking at national food strategies. It would require looking at national dietary guidelines that encourage people to change their diets. We would need to eliminate subsidies that incentivize the production of animal products and install taxes that change people's demand for these non-environmental products. Public procurement programs and school lunch programs all need to focus on bringing more of plants and legumes instead of meat. Education, of course, getting students and children from early age to understand the benefits of eating healthy diets that are plant-based and whole. And of course, innovation and technology that could really help us get these changes in diets also. So with that, I'll end. I don't know if it was a little bit quick, if it was elaborate enough, but the idea was to give you a little bit of a taste of some of the research that I do here. Maybe do we have time for a follow-up question if anyone's interested in some of the things that I presented, or else I'll move on to the other presentation of the program.
I think you have time, Dr. Shepon. If anybody does have any questions, feel free to ask now.
If you're a little bit shy, don't be. And if you feel a little bit uncomfortable, you could also put it in the chat and I'll try to answer. Okay, I'll move. Or maybe there was a question.
Michael, did you raise your hand? I see some Michael Laboa, you've raised your hand. You feel free to, you can switch on your camera and your mic, or you can pop it into the chat.
Okay, I can. Oh, there you are, Michael. You
I'd
wanna?
like to find out whether the university we can apply for this particular program, or you are just taking us to know the program that will be running in the university, or it is available for us to apply for this program.
Sorry, I couldn't hear well. Go ahead.
I'd like to find out if we can apply to this particular program. Is it a program that the university is running, or is a research you have done that you are presenting to us? That's what I would like to find out.
So I understand the question. So the question is if you can apply to the program. In a second, you'll just hear about the program presentation. The program coordinator, Lee, is here as well. So we're presenting both. Dr. Shepon is also presenting his research as a mini lecture for people, but at the same time, we're going to present now the actual MA in Environmental Studies program, which you can definitely apply to for next year.
Okay, I think I'll go ahead and present the program, and then if you have any other follow-up questions. Okay, so I'll give a very brief presentation about the International MA program. A little bit about it. So it's an accelerated one-year program over 3 semesters in English for international students and also Israeli students. It adopts a multidisciplinary approach for contemporary environmental challenges. What it means is that it tackles a lot of the ongoing challenges in environmental and sustainability issues, and therefore the program has a range of topics that it teaches and pursues. Understanding this multidisciplinary approach is really what is needed to tackle these challenges. And so there's a very wide and large amount of courses that are given by top-notch faculty in issues of energy, food, water, economics, and also urban and marine environments, and so on and so on. It also has a very strong component of hands-on, getting a lot of understanding the problems and issues on the ground, and then being also exposed to cutting-edge environmental research, both in the labs and also outside our department. And of course, the program also has a mix of international as well as Israeli students with very diverse backgrounds. So the program really caters for very large and wide and diverse backgrounds. A little bit more. So the applications and requirements, we require people with a BA or BSc degree in any field. So there's no requirement on a specific field. We do have a requirement for the grades, which have to be a 3 on a 4 scale or 80, at least, of course, or 80 on a scale of 100. There needs to be proof of English proficiency and 2 letters of recommendation and a personal essay, which maybe Lee can explain, but where you kind of express your interest in this program. There is tuition for international students, and I think David talked a little bit about scholarships and funding, but if you feel you need more information, just reach out to us. A little bit about the curriculum and the program itself. So like I mentioned, it's a 1-year program. It consists of introductory courses, core seminars, and elective courses. The core courses provide a very kind of in-depth knowledge across various different disciplines that we feel are essential and important to get a very broad understanding of sustainability and environment. These include, for example, courses in environmental policy, ecology, urban sustainability, food systems, and diets. Then there are elective courses that allow you kind of to explore some diverse topics like climate change, marine systems, water policy, and forthon. We also have field trips that also enable you to kind of see the challenges and issues on the ground and learn a little bit about Israel and see things, how the environmental problems, again, in the field and not only in the classes. We also have a final project which allows students to pursue individual research projects in any topic or field that they choose. In total, the program includes 38 credit points throughout this year. I think that's about it. Let's see. So we do emphasize that this program also has a lot of opportunities to learn things and issues on the ground. And in that sense, we see this as a professional MA program. So one opportunity that students can have, and again, it's not mandatory, is to take a 4-month internship in one of Israeli leading environmental organizations. It could be in municipalities, in advocacy groups, to get some understanding of how things occur on the ground. And those of you who want to pursue a full master's program can take, after this year, an additional year, and then pursue a full thesis with one of the faculty members here in this department. Many of our students, when completed this program, pursued careers outside academic in various different formats, places around the world and here in Israel. These are some of the, I would say, jobs that our graduates have found: environmental projects officer, environmental engineers, federal government consultants, coordinator, the energy sector, people working in urban and municipalities, and of course, people working in the industry as well, and consultancy. This is what some of our students have said. I'll leave you to read that with their personal experience engaging in our program over the year. and I think David touched a lot about this, unique, not only opportunity to learn cutting edge topics in environment, but also the atmosphere and the unique environment that we also offer. So I think with that, I'll end, unless you have any questions.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shepon. Feel free to switch on your cameras, everyone. We're happy to answer any questions you guys have, or you can pop it into the chat if you prefer. The program is still open isn't it, Lee, for 2024? Yeah.
Yes.
Rolling applications. It's a very simple and easy application process with all of the international programs. You just open up a profile online on our application portal. You fill out a form, you upload your documentation, your transcripts. Of course, Blaze, please ask a question. Feel free to switch on your camera, or you can pop it into the chat, whatever you prefer.
Yeah.
Go
Shalom.
ahead. Shalom.
I'm Abraham Visano.
Hi.
Yeah, I'm from the Republic of Liberia,
Okay.
but I'm currently in Israel, and I came to Israel through internship, which is almost coming to an end.
Uh-huh.
And I did apply to the institutions, but I've been facing some problem. One have to do with the English proficiency, and I'm from English-speaking country, and I did all my activities, all my learning, especially BSc in English. So it is mandatory for me to provide the English proficiency.
I'm sorry, what was your name again? I didn't hear. Abraham?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hi. Yes, for anyone who has completed a degree taught entirely in English, once you submit the transcript and diploma, it's being evaluated, and then it will be decided if you need to submit or not English proficiency. Usually, if you complete a degree taught entirely in English, you won't be required to submit an English proficiency.
Can I also just mention as well that we also have a short-term academic English program at the international school in August that gives you a B2 certification. So if your proof of English proficiency isn't quite the level that we need, you can come and do that course for, I think, 4 weeks or 6 weeks. And as long as you pass it, that will then cover you for your proof of English proficiency. But I'll put that links to that in the email afterwards.
Okay.
Okay.
Blaze, did you raise a hand? Blaze Pascal? You raised your hand. Did you want to ask a question? Feel free to ask or pop it into the chat.
Hello, Shalom.
Hello, Shalom.
My name is Vincent from Kenya.
Hi,
And
Vincent.
I wanted to inquire something. I've just logged in and just to inquire something on when you completed the theory and now you come to the project. What duration for the project and the duration for the thesis? I didn't capture that information well. Kindly, you can release it. Thank you.
You asked about the final project, right? And the thesis, because it's two different.
Yes.
Okay, the final
Yes.
project is something that you do during the 1 year of studies. We will elaborate it at the beginning of the year. The thesis is for a second year. It can sometimes take longer, but you start it only after you complete the first year of studies, and then you need to apply for the thesis, and you do it in the second year of studies.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Has anybody actually started the application process for this year?
Yes.
If you are, go ahead.
I saw some familiar
Faces or
names.
names.
Yes.
But maybe I can ask something on the. I got the application today, and I got the acceptance today.
Oh.
But yeah, thank you. And I want to say maybe the next course of this week. What is there is that you have written in that the deadline for confirming the payment is 31st of May, and maybe you can change that one in application in your executive letter, because maybe can confuse.
I'm sorry, did you ask something about, I heard passport and?
Yeah, I'm saying in the letter, the executive letter, maybe let me write, let me type.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. Can you guys hear me?
It's very faint. Blaze, are you able to?
Yeah, okay. Can you hear me now?
It's still very faint. Just, but maybe pop it into the chat if you prefer. While you're doing that, I'll answer Susan's question in the chat. The English course, unfortunately, is not online, it's in person. All of our courses, apart from one short-term program in the summer, are all in person on campus.
I see another question.
From Michael.
Yes, about a GPA 2.5 out of 4. I mean, we need to evaluate the transcript. Then it will be determined what is the equivalent grade. So you are welcome to send me the transcript and diploma, and we will look into it.
I saw Blaze also had asked this question. So a second class upper, that's the UK system. That's what I have. That's how you classify undergraduate degrees.
Again, anyone who's asking about the GPA, we have a department or registration that will evaluate the grade, and then we can see about the application. So anyone can email me their transcript and diploma, and we will look into it.
Karen asked about the 3 semesters. When do they take place?
Right. It's we have 3 semesters. It's fall, spring, and summer. The program begins around this year. It will begin in November and will end around August. That's usually the duration of the program. I see Dominique is asking about application deadline. I mean, we are on a rolling admission basis, but again, for many reasons, it's recommended to apply as early as possible. First of all, if you want to live in the dorms, it's catching up fast, so
and scholarships as well. They tend to go quickly. Yeah.
Right. So don't wait till the last minute.
There was a question from Blaze about, do you allow students with an agricultural background?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. Perfect.
Yes, I see the question, Vincent. Yes, until May 31st, from now, the confirmation fee is non-refundable. So you need to decide.
Well, that's an interesting question from Myro. How it compares to the Sustainable Development Program.
Alon, do you want to answer?
So I think of course, there are some overlaps in terms of courses and thinking and vision, but I think the emphasis there is about development, and of course in developing countries. But again, I think some of the core, I would say, topics do have overlap in terms of the studies, but it's a different program.
Okay. So if there's no more questions, everyone, I think maybe we can let me just make sure we've answered all of them. I think we have. I will make sure in the email that I send out afterwards that I will include all of the links to the various I will put links in the email to everyone to all the various information pages that I recommended, scholarships, financial aid, the program page, the admissions page. Everything will be in that email afterwards.
There's another question just popped in. What happens if you get accepted and by any reason can't report?
If I understood correctly, you mean you can start the studies. It depends on when you or for what reason you can start your studies, but there are many different cases, so I can't answer it, but you are welcome to email me and we can so I can get more information to understand.
Thanks, Lee. And like we mentioned earlier, the program is still open for applications for this year. So you still have time to apply to start in the fall. There's a question from Michael about his MPhil program and waiting for certification.
I don't know what is an MPhil program, if it's a BA or an MA.
Maybe a master's in philosophy.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means you already have a bachelor's degree. In that case,
yeah.
What?
Which makes you eligible to,
Yes.
Of course, apply.
Okay. So I think we're just a few minutes over, which is fine, a few minutes under, but I think we've answered most people's questions. Michael, you raised your hand? No?
No, I think we answered that question.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so listen, thank you very much, Dr. Shepon, and thank you very much, Lee. It was a delight to co-host a webinar with you. I will send out to everyone afterwards an email with a link to the recording, to the scholarships page, the curriculum page, the admissions page, all of them, what we talked about during the session. And as Lee and I both said, the program is still open to apply for this year. So you still have time to be able to apply and get accepted to start in the fall, but don't delay your application. Do apply as soon as possible. Even though the program is open, as Lee mentioned, the dorm space goes very quickly. It's super popular. Also, scholarships and financial aid is is one pot of funding, and people have been applying to our program since we opened in December. So the longer you leave it, the less chance you have of being able to secure any kind of funding. So thank you very much for giving up your time to come in and to join our session. It's been a delight to have you here. And we hope to welcome you here in the fall to come to Tel Aviv University in Israel. Hopefully we'll see you here in November. The program starts this year.
Right.
Very late.
Looking forward to seeing all of you. Thank you very much, David.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank
Any
you.
questions, guys? You can always reach out to all of us. All of our contact details will be on the email that I send out to you. So I'll let you guys all go and maximize the rest of your day. So thank you very much. Hopefully we'll see you here in November. Bye.
Toda.
Toda.